told me in session because I was shocked and I started crying. And I was like, bruh, and they were like, it's fine. I'm like, no, let me suck this up because I'm supposed to be here for you. But since I love you so much and I care so much, and I can't believe you're falling apart like this, you can't fucking do this burnout stuff. Stop it.
Yeah.
But very perfectionistic. A lot of my neurodivergent girlies, they're going to grind, 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 grind. They're not paying attention to the body because their mind is inundated with other shit. And then for a lot of my women, their partners, doesn't matter what gender the partner is, will be like, hey, well, I miss you. And my other kid, I don't have any love to give any. I have work to do. I'm inundated like sex. What do you mean sex? I don't,
Yeah.
girl, I'm depressed as shit, but they don't know they're depressed. And so the reason why I say this to you is I love that Spencer brought this burnout out because so many of our individuals that we see that are neurodivergent, they're autistic, are so past burnout. And it gets really scary when it gets into suicidality because now how long is the burnout lasted? Will I ever be the same?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't fucking know if you're gonna be. I don't know if I want you to be the same as what you were
Right.
before.
That's not the goal. Yeah. The goal isn't to going back to what you were, because that was
No.
never sustainable and never okay. So there's two things I want to say about what
Go
you
ahead.
said, because I think it's really important. The first one is,
I say some good shit.
I've said people get tired of me saying this. My dad was a psychiatrist. One of the things he used to say all the time is that the first sign of depression he looked for was not sadness, exhaustion, poor concentration. It was fighting with the partner. Because
I'm
when you're
depressed as shit.
depressed,
I'm sorry.
because when
I ain't
you're
got a partner.
depressed, you can't concentrate. You can't pay attention to the things that your partner's saying. You
Yep.
can't validate their needs. You can't be there for them. And they start to feel it personally that you're mistreating them.
Facts.
And so we would have patients come in all the time and say, like, I don't know what's wrong with us, but we all of a sudden can't get along. And it's because one or both of them are depressed and they're not getting any feedback from the partner that they need that makes this a valuable relationship for them.
Agree.
And that it feels like being ignored, it feels like being unloved. And in reality, it's just you can't concentrate. It interferes with your ability to pick up on what the other person is giving you. You often can't have a sexual relationship with them. You're denying their needs. That's what they feel like, even though that's not what's happening. And so that was always the tell. He would say, "Are you fighting with your partner, or is your partner mad at you?" And they'd say, "Yeah, all the time." All right, I know what this is, because it's like a one to it's very, very clear cut.
I like that.
Um,
That's never
the
been
other
told to me
thing
before,
is
but that makes sense.
we did not set out to be the company that was providing autism services across the country. We really didn't. We set out to really address this issue of toxic work environments, burnout, the things that I had experienced and quickly learned that so many people were going through. But what we found after running groups on burnout for really not even that long was that something like 25% of our patients, or the group members are not patients at that point, would come in and then reach out to us afterward, because we always say, we have additional services available should you need them. If you need a higher level of support, we're here. And they would say, I really want, I really think I should be tested for autism spectrum disorder, because I I think that might be contributing, but like I have no idea where to start. And we would say, yeah, we don't really know either, because tools for adults are non-existent. And if they do exist, you're a year out, or it's incredibly expensive, or they don't take your insurance, or if they do, even with your insurance, it's thousands of dollars. And so we were able to find some stuff, but we operate all over the country, and there was no way we were going to find any kind of really easily repeatable resource for people who wanted access to those services. And then there was also the question of, like, why is this so difficult? Like, it's not new that we
No.
know we have undiagnosed adults walking around. We know that. That was the crux of changing the diagnostic criteria. Not that they weren't also autistic then, but they defined it differently. Um, so why have we not, like, made any effort to address this in a different way?
I
And
blame
that's what led
Obama.
us down the
I
path.
blame
It was
Obama.
burnout that led us to autism, not, not this idea that we would, oh, well, we can test for autism. Our patients were like, we don't know what to do. And if I don't get accommodations at work, I can't work this job anymore.
True.
Well, all right. And that's how my brain works, is how do I break this so that we can fix it?
There you go. Shit happens quick. Spence, what do you think, man? We get into the movies?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's get into the tism.
Yes, because we haven't been talking about that forever.
My client called it Mr. T the other day, and I fucking died. Mr. T for tism, autism.
There you go.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I got Mr. T.
Nice.
Sorry, continue.
All right. So we're going to be focusing on Guardians of the Galaxy, and specifically on Drax. So if you don't know, Guardians of the Galaxy just follows all of this group of misfits who are just trying to protect the universe, or that's how it ends up. Dave Bautista, he's Drax. He plays this warrior whose family died, or who were murdered from Ronan the Accuser, and he's seeking to get revenge on Ronan. And then in the first scene that we see, they're all in prison, and Drax actually has Gamora, and he's threatening her with a knife because she worked with, because Thanos is her father, and then also she, worked with Ronan, the Accuser, because Ronan's under Thanos. It's a whole fucking thing. And
something multiverse.
Yeah, it's all they're all
the green
connected.
people, the blue people.
They're aliens. They kill people and yada yada yada. But and so now he's holding a knife to her. It's just like, hey, if I kill you, then I'm kind of getting revenge on Thanos / Ronan the Accuser. And of course Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, talks him down. And then we have a great scene where he's like, all right, I didn't get to kill you, but I'm gonna take this knife. All right, that's my knife now. And to the chagrin of another prisoner, he didn't like that. That was his favorite knife, and apparently that knife gets passed around. It's fine. No judgment there. But
not slut shaming.
No, never, ever. So we know that Drax is known for being literal, straightforward, but then also misunderstood. How do you see his character connecting to the real world neurodiversity or trauma experiences?
Yeah, I think there's actually a couple things that I don't think I even thought of before from your description. So we see a lot of patients who come to us with eventually diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and they describe them, if they report having friends growing up, they report for the most part that they were friends with the other outcasts, the other weird kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so this idea of 5 weird people, quote unquote weird people, hanging out together is very typical of neurodivergent experiences in youth. And they're in this case adults, but and often, like, we see that in adults. People go find their people. They have the same common interests. In this case, it's killing someone for a big bounty, which just could be a common interest, I guess. But I think that the misfits thing, the fact that they're this like ragtag band of people who probably shouldn't be successful, but because they balance each other and tip the scales to each other's way when they need to, it works, is very typical of neurodivergent friendships. And the other side is that obviously Drax is grieving. He's grieving throughout his entire character arc, through anytime we see him in these these movies or any of the movies. But also, I think that idea of loss is so important, because we see so many people who say that they've never been able to make friends. They've never had friends, but they all have, or not all, but many of them have long-term partners and families. And first off, it speaks to the fact that that is clearly a very different relationship. So they're able to manage intense relationships, but they're not able to manage more, just low-key,
romantic,
There's a word for it, but relationships that don't require daily maintenance. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
They can handle daily maintenance relationships, but not more low-key relationships. And I think that's very representative in this intensity that Drax has, which is that he found his daily maintenance. It was the one relationship he thought he needed. It was the only one he cared about. It still, at this point, is the only one he cares about. He had a child from it. That's an extension of it. And that is very typical of a lot of our patients, not the whole destroyer part, but more the one strong relationship part. What I really like about it is, though, he has this very emotional response where he definitively decides he is going to make a big move to do something. And when he isn't allowed to do that thing, he steals the knife. And he says, I like this knife, I'm keeping it. And that just makes sense to him. Fine. If you are not going to let me kill the person, I am going to take this little treat that is now mine. And I love that. I just think the way it comes down, the way he balances this giant explosion that he has, is so perfect for that type.
I think it's cool because he just locks on an object. So many of us lock onto certain objects that mean a lot to us. So let's back it down to like childhood. Usually in adulthood, depending on where you're at, right? You can't take certain things, but when you're kids and you take that thing, they usually deregulate, right? And they can't calm themselves, right? And so in that moment, I see like this very deregulated Drax going through his trauma and all this shit, and then he's like, I already liked it this, but I couldn't have that. Now it's mine. I feel like I just hear him say mine. I also think it's just cute as shit. Like I've done that where I walk into a store, I'm like, yep, I want that.
Well, and also the fact that he very directly communicates it.
Very directly.
I like this knife, I'm keeping it.
And also with almost no emotion.
Yeah, no nuance.
It. No, there's a word. No nuance behind it. It's just like nothing, no detail, no explanation. He's like, by the way, I've liked this and I'm going to murder other people with this. And thank you.
Thank you for giving me my murder tool. I appreciate it.
I didn't even explain why he liked it. He's just like, I like it. But he looks at it. And I'm like, did he like it because it was rusty, pointy? Like, I don't know. Like, is it fucking the Green Ranger's fucking dagger? Like, well, why did he? Very autistic in the way he was so blunt and straightforward. But also I thought about, and we can move on to the next scene. Sometimes with folks, they may not be able to articulate why they like something. It could be touch, it could be scent, it could be the smell, it could be the feel of it, right? It could be the weight of it.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Check out the full episode on our channel and anywhere you find podcasts. Also, remember to like and subscribe. Whoop whoop.